Hey guys, I am so excited about today's video. This is a collaboration with my very good friend Natalie and my biggest girl crush. She has a channel here on YouTube. It's under Flowerbomb31, but her name is Natalie. Definitely go check it out. She's just so much fun, and I love all of the products that she talks about, and she's constantly talking about like new products from Sephora, from Nordstrom. Anyway, I'll link to her channel down below. So Natalie and I have actually become pretty close. We collabed a while ago. We started texting a little bit here and there, and she told me she was coming to Vegas this past March, so we decided to meet up, and it was my first and only time at this point meeting her in person, and she's so sweet. She is just adorable. Like, the way she is on her channel is the way she is in person. She's just really chill, really funny, makes like funny comments, like she'll just throw them in here and there, and she had me rolling the entire time. And since then we've been Marco Poloing. I don't know if you guys use that app on your phones, but it's like a video chat. It's almost like a video walkie-talkie. If you do use it, you'll know what I mean, but it's like a video walkie-talkie, and it's so much fun, and we've gotten pretty close over it. So anyway, I absolutely adore her. And this video was her idea. Basically, it's like our 10 favorite things that were released for like the spring summer this season, or like the top 10 picks of our spring summer releases that have been released so far, because I feel like they're still kind of coming. And yeah, these makeup companies, they are just not letting up. I feel like the more we talk about how we need to slow down, the faster they keep coming out with products. Anyway, it's been difficult to keep up, and it was difficult to whittle this list down. I thought 10 was going to be a lot. We were thinking about doing 5, but I said, let's do 10 so we have like a nice big chunk of stuff to talk about. It was really hard whittling this down, and obviously I have a couple bronzers in here that took up a few spots, about 3 spots in here. So Natalie and I have not spoken to each other about what our picks are, so I'm curious to see if she picks similar things or the same things to me. I don't know. Maybe. She definitely has some of these things that I'm going to be talking about. But she also was thinking about throwing in some like fashion stuff or whatever. I don't really have a lot of like summer clothes. I just basically kind of wear the same stuff all year round. I know that's weird, but yeah. So anyway, she may be doing that. I'm going to be sticking to makeup and beauty. So one thing I do want to mention before we jump into my 10 products is I am not going to be mentioning anything from Chanel, because I actually have a video coming up at the end of this month, and I'm basically going to be talking about my top 5 favorite Chanel releases this year so far. So I'm going to leave my Chanel products for that video. So that video is coming up, and that's actually going to be a 3-way collab that I'm really, really excited about also. But definitely subscribe if you want to see that video, but that's coming up at the end of June. But let's go ahead and just jump into these 10 products. All right, so let's start off with a little bit of Tom Ford. This is the Glow Tone Up Foundation. I love this. This is part of the Soleil line, and it's basically like their cushion foundation, but there was, at least in the US, there were 3 shades that were released that were these quote-unquote tone-up shades, and I use my tone-up shade as a primer. So I have number 2, Pink Glow Tone Up. I think they had Rose Glow Tone Up, which was lighter, and then they had a Peach Glow Tone Up. It was darker and it was warmer, and it was actually kind of orangey. That shade, I don't know, that shade was a mystery to me. So you could use these, kind of as either a very, very light foundation, or you could use them as a primer, which is the way I use them. You could use them as a highlighter, like on top of your foundation, like however you want, basically. They're kind of a mysterious product, but I like the Pink Glow Tone Up for my skin tone, and I like it as primer. So that is this one. And then for the actual foundation, I have shade 2.0 Buff. They only released 3 shades here in the US. It was such a strange release. I know this was released over in Asia like last fall maybe, or even maybe last summer, and there's like a whole shade range, but for the US we got like 3 shades, and I was thankful that one worked for me. So I have the shade 2.0 Buff, and both of these have an SPF 45. I will layer the buff on top of the Pink Glow Tone Up, and I just love the way it makes my skin look. It just makes my skin look like really pearly. It has like enough coverage. I want to say it's a light medium coverage, but it still looks very light on the skin. It doesn't look heavy at all. And I just love this packaging. It's just so cool. My pathetic self feels very, very chic when I pull these out. So I love these. I counted this as one product. So this is the Tom Ford Soleil Glow Tone Up Foundation, and this is number 1 on my list. Number 2 on my list is something I've been talking about quite a bit. I mentioned this in my favorites, but this is the Guerlain Terracotta Highlighter Stick, and I have it in the shade Nude. There are 4 shades altogether. Nude, I think, is the most neutral for my skin tone, and I love this highlighter. This cream highlighter is so bling. I love it. Most of the cream highlighters I have are very subtle, especially compared to some powder products that I have, but this one is so reflective and metallic and smooth. There are no glittery bits in there. It's not chunky at all. It's just this like sheet of metallic reflection. It's so gorgeous. And it has that Guerlain Terracotta scent, which I really love. It's so summery. I just love it. Okay, numbers 3 and 4 are both face palettes. Those are the only face palettes I have in here. But the Natasha Denona Tan Bronze and Glow palette, I love this. This is another one that appeared in my favorites recently, and I just think it's such a good palette. This blush and bronze powder is such a beautiful tone for my skin. It is fairly neutral, but it has like a nice peachy undertone, and it's a little bit deep. Like if I can't really build this product up too much, it gets too deep for my skin tone. But if I am going for something dramatic, I'll go for this. If I'm prepared to use like a light hand with something, I will reach for this bronze, and it looks great. It goes on really sheer if you want it to, and it looks great on my skin tone. I was so surprised. I was really worried that this was going to be too dark, but as long as I use a light hand, I think it looks great. And then all of these other products are so awesome. They all have like a different feel to them. This one is a cream product. This product is a powder, but it has a very creamy kind of powder feel to it. And then this is like a harder baked highlighter. And they all work really well together. I think I also mentioned that they all have kind of like different undertones. So you can kind of play by mixing around the different products. Like this one is golder and much more warm than this. This is like a little bit more neutral. This is a highlight, and it's fairly neutral, but they all work really well together. And if you use more of one, and you can have the tones kind of like lean in a way, cooler or warmer if you want. So I'm really loving this palette. I think it's great. I love the size. I love the packaging again. I think it's so cool. And I really love this like compact size. So I've really been loving this Tan Bronze and Glow palette from Natasha Denona. Okay, number 4 on my list is actually a product I haven't talked about much since I reviewed it on my channel, but this is the Charlotte Tilbury Lovegasm Glowgasm Face Palette. I don't reach for this as much as I reach for something like this or even some of my more individual products. And it's only because these products are so glowy that I only take this out on special occasions. But if you want a glowy like blush like this, oh my gosh, nothing beats this. It is so beautiful on the cheeks. I mean, the word glowgasm is in there. It is so glowy. So this is definitely my go-to if I'm looking for something like really beaming on my cheeks. This is like the first thing that I reach for, like no doubt. It's the first thing I think of, and I absolutely love these 2 cheek products. They are so beautiful on the skin, and this was another palette that I thought was probably going to be too deep for me. I also have her Lightgasm palette, but the Lightgasm palette, I don't know, I just don't think to use it quite as often as this one, and it's definitely because of these 2 cheek colors. The highlight is a little bit too gold for me. This bronze is a little bit too deep for me. If I use a light hand, they're okay. But when I think of this palette, I really think of these 2 cheek products, and I just love them. Like if she came out with these in single pans, I would definitely go out and get them so that I could, travel with like the single pan, but I just love those 2 cheek products. So that is the Charlotte Tilbury Lovegasm. So next I have some bronzers, and this was very difficult for me to whittle down. I have purchased a lot of bronzers, and I really love them all, I have to say. But the ones that I reach for the most are the ones I'm about to show you, and also because I'm not bringing Chanel into this video, it did kind of make it a little bit easier. So the first ones I want to mention are the Tom Ford Soleil Glow Bronzers. I have Gold Dust and Terra. They come in this size, and then they also come in like the bigger bronzer size. So usually I get the bigger compact because I love that oversized compact, but I never ever go through the product. So I restrained myself and just got the smaller ones. I love both of these shades. Gold Dust when I'm feeling like I want a little bit more warmth. Terra if I feel like I'm doing more of a bronzer kind of situation. But these powders are soft and creamy, so they blend really easily. They're very, very pigmented, so you only need a little bit of the product. And when I first got the Gold Dust, I like stabbed my brush in there and all this powder went everywhere. And I thought, whoa, this is really, really soft. But since then, I've learned how to work with it. So long as I don't, like stab my brush into it, it's fine. It definitely has a soft sort of consistency to it, but that's just what makes it so like easy to blend and like gives your cheek like a really airbrushed look. So I have been loving these. I reach for these almost every day. These next bronzers are the limited edition bronzers from Chantecaille. So this is Serena and this is Goa. And I love that Chantecaille came out with the Serena in its own compact. So this came out last year as part of a bronzer highlighter duo. And I fell in love with that. The formula, the shade, everything. I just absolutely loved it. It's this kind of like baked gelée formula, and they came out with it in its own pan. And look at how beautiful this is. Oh my God, I can't stand it. This red color is so gorgeous. So here is Serena. And the formula it's that baked gelée formula. So it's this really kind of sheer wash of color that you get on your face. There isn't a lot of powder kick up. You do need to use a bit of a stiffer brush with these to kind of pick up the product, but it is so worth it. And then Goa is the other color that is a little bit deeper and has a little bit more of a red undertone. It's not quite as warm as Serena. So I love them both. They both work for my skin tone. I just love them. And look at the compact. They're both red, but the Goa is a little bit more of a primary red, and the Serena is more of like a orangey red. So beautiful. I love these. I love the formula, everything about them. Gorgeous. I'm so glad Chantecaille came out with these for the summertime. The next thing on my list is something that was released recently, but it is not necessarily something for the spring, summer, and that is the Viseart Single Shadows. So I made this custom palette out of some single shadows that I had, some single shadows that they were kind enough to send to me, and I threw them all into this Slim Pro magnetic palette from Viseart. And you can see how much I love it because it's actually already pretty beat up. But ever since I made this palette, I have taken this and only this on 3 trips that I've taken this past month, and it has become indispensable. I can do an everyday look, I can do a crazy kind of fun golden look or silver look if I want. I can do an evening look here. I just love the custom palette that I made, and I'm so happy that Viseart came out with their shadows in single form because you can have a lot of fun creating your custom palette. And of course, economically, if you were to buy 12 single shadows, it is more expensive than just buying one of their 12 pan palettes. But let me tell you, as much as I love their 12 pan palettes, like I use their neutral matte palette, the dark matte, the cool matte, warm mattes, I use them all quite a bit, but I've never used a palette as much as I've used this one. This one gets so much more use because I made it, because it's totally custom. So thank you, Viseart, for coming out with single shadows. It's just amazing. Absolutely love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, and this eyeshadow release had to be mentioned, but these are the Eyeshadow Quads from Tom Ford. I'm clumping this as one thing, but he released Body Heat, which is number 3, Suspicion, which is number 4, and Double Indemnity, which is number 5. So Suspicion is the warmest, Body Heat I want to say is probably the most neutral, Double Indemnity is the coolest. I have been loving Double Indemnity. I don't know why. These definitely look like a more fall winter kind of color story, but I've been reaching for this quad more than the other two. I love them all. I think they're all so beautiful. I love this wet dry formula. I've talked about that to death, but this one, I don't know. I just really love the eye looks that I get from this one. Body Heat is probably the other one that I reach for a lot. That's this guy. It definitely is warm leaning, but it's more neutral than Suspicion. And Suspicion, because it's so like gold and like metallic-y. This one I reach for the least, but it is gorgeous. It is so beautiful. And I think it's so rare that a company will come out with a bunch of smaller eyeshadow palettes and you like them all. You know, usually they'll do it by color story. That's what I've seen the most. You know, you'll see like blues and then greens and then purples and pinks and whatever, and you always gravitate towards one. But this release, like, I feel like all of them, I feel like everyone had a really hard time figuring out which ones they wanted to order, which ones they wanted to go with. So I love these. These were such a great release. Oh my God, how many have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 2 more. I have 2 lip products. So number 9 on my list are the Hourglass Unreal lip glosses. I have 3 shades now. I have Halo, Ignite, and Solar. I love them all. Halo and Ignite have a very similar finish. They have like little like glittery, iridescent glittery bits in there. They just are fairly sheer on the lips. They give your lips like a nice plumping effect. They're great lip toppers. They're really wonderful. Solar has more of like a metallic sheen running through it, and it's a little bit opaque and a little bit thicker than the Halo and the Ignite. It's also, the color also is brighter, but I love all 3. They're such good lip glosses, and I almost skipped on these because I'm not a fan of like plumping or volumizing lip glosses because I don't like that feeling. Like I really don't like buxom lip glosses. I just don't like that feeling. And when I first tried this on, it had a little bit of a minty flavor to it and I was a little bit nervous, but it is very faint and it didn't give my lips that like tingle. It just has like a minty smell. So I am really enjoying these, and I actually had to run down and grab Ignite out of my purse because it's been living there ever since I got it. So the Hourglass Unreal lip glosses, I cannot recommend these enough. They're really great. And last but not least, I of course had to mention these Gucci lipsticks. And I didn't want to mention the entire line. Gucci kind of revived their beauty line by introducing us to a shit ton of lipsticks with 3 different finishes. So there's a cream like satin, there's a balm like tinted balms, and then there's a sheer formula, and that's what this is. That's what comes in this rosebud packaging. I really like this sheer formula. I really like sheer, easy to wear lip products, and I have been loving this Agatha Orange color in particular. It's such a great summertime color. It just like lights up your face, and I love that it's a sheer color. I mean, it's obvious that you have it on, but it's sheer, so it's just not that high maintenance. I don't feel like I'm paranoid about, is it on my teeth? Has it bled? Do I need to reapply? Like, I don't have to worry about it with this formula. So that's Agatha Orange. And then I also have Hold Your Man, which is this lovely beige. And this is great. I don't need a mirror. You don't need a lip liner for these. I just throw it on and it's wonderful. So these Gucci sheer lipsticks have been awesome. The packaging is so great. I love it. And that is my 10 favorite summer releases. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to head on over to Natalie's channel. Definitely check her out. Show her some love. Let her know that I sent you over there. And if you're here from Natalie's channel and this is your first time over here, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.